The US dollar could be about to pull back, but don't get too comfortable in that. And I'll show you why in today's video. I'm sharing my exact trade plan for the DXY, the euro, the pound, and also gold. So if you are at all confused by these markets, especially with everything going on in Iran and obviously Trump posting every 5 minutes, then this video is for you, because by the end of this video, everything is going to make perfect sense. So my name is Justin Bennett, full-time trader and founder of Daily Price Action. As always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So let's take a look here first, the DXY on the daily time frame. So if you've seen recent videos, we've talked about this a lot, how in 2025, we did have the downtrend. The market then went sideways. We had a BOS here below these lows, and then that gave us this external high up here. We had a close above here. Now, this was a little bit close here on the DXY. However, as we've talked about on the euro, that was a close of over 50 pips below that respective low. And we'll talk about that in this video as well. But for the most part, again, longer term for the USD, this could be bullish, okay? Now, with that said, we know that markets don't move in a straight line. That's especially the case here recently with everything going on out there. It has been, if I'm being honest, a bit of a circus. However, with that said, the price action lately has actually been pretty good, a lot better than what most people think when you really understand SMC. So looking here, and by the way, if you do want to understand SMC, check out the link right here on the screen, because that's going to provide you with a free SMC training video where I share my exact strategy for trading SMC full time. Beyond that, if you want my help with your trading in Discord, seeing my trades live, getting the full course, getting access to the trading journal and more, then you will have the opportunity to do that beyond that link. Okay. So right now with the DXY guys, we have the potential for a pullback as the market is kind of testing these highs back here. Now, it did move above these highs that we've talked about. However, in the SMC Outlook video, what I mentioned there was that we could see the US dollar and also bond yields pull back following these breakouts. Okay, so right now, what I'm kind of looking at for the DXY, and I mentioned this to members in Discord this morning, in fact, so looking at the 1 hour time frame, you can see where we did break a key trend line here off of these lows. Okay, so the lows down here, this one here, this one, this touch right there before the breakdown. And now we've seen the DXY break, okay? Now, in terms of SMC, if you look at the 15-minute chart, we have the DXY potentially putting in a local top, okay? Now, I say local top because obviously this has been an uptrend for this market, and yields have been just going crazy, and bond yields in the US dollar tend to be positively correlated. Now, with that said, though, this reversal here combined with the break of this trend line, combined with the fact that if you look at the 4 hour time frame, we do have imbalances down here. Okay, so we have this imbalance, this displacement out of this range. Okay, so down here in this area, we also have another one down here. Okay, so with that in mind, there is the potential for the US dollar to pull back over the coming days. And if you're trading the US dollar, that's actually ideal, because if you're going to long the USD, you want to look for a pullback, because you obviously want to long low and short high, right? So with this market right now, if we look at this here, you can see where we did have this change of character and BOS back here. Although, you know, really this has just been a sideways market here for weeks. Okay, it's important to understand that the context right now for the DXY. But if I'm going to look for US dollar longs, I need to see this market pull back at least down here into this region, but ideally down here toward 98.15. And the reason for that is that if you just look at this recent range, okay, so on this displacement from the low down here up here to the high, what you'll notice is that this is the 50%. Everything below is discount, as we know. I've made videos on all of this before. This dark green area is OTE, or the optimal trade entry, which is where you often see a market reverse. Now, what will be key is if we see the DXY down here, and it's still a big if, guys, we don't know if this is going to happen or not. But if we do see the DXY down here in this area, then what's going to be key is looking for a lower time frame shift, okay? And that's what's going to be the signal to look for US dollar longs, or really to get long the US dollar. Now, again, we don't know if this is going to happen. Okay, this could be a case where we just go sideways here and then we take off to the upside. Okay, so this is by no means saying that I am bearish on the US dollar. I think we could get a pullback from the US dollar down here into some imbalances. But longer term, guys, looking at this chart, as I said, on the daily time frame, I remain bullish on the US dollar and bearish on things like the euro, and we'll talk about that one next. Okay, so as I said in the SMC Outlook video, guys, I am looking for US dollar longs, but I do want to see, or I'd like to see the market pull back specifically to 98.15. And before we go on, the reason that's on my radar is you can see here that off of this high here on the daily, we have this imbalance back here. Okay, so really what happened is this candle right here was the start of the move out of this consolidation that we saw. And what you'll notice is that following this candle, we saw no retrace into this area, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that we have to get it, okay? But at the same time, highs like this back here on the daily time frame, oftentimes, if you do get a reversal, okay, and you get the market come back here to kind of clean up this area, you do get the market come back here to tag highs like this around 98.15. I think that would be ideal for a US dollar long. Obviously, just my opinion, not financial advice. Okay, so we'll see if we get that, right? And if we look at the euro, you can see here that, again, this is what I'm referring to in terms of the daily time frame, this change of character that we got back here. Okay, so we had this low back here. This was the external low following this BOS. So we had the close below. Now this close below was over 50 pips. So very, very convincing. And what you'll notice is that since this time, what we had from the euro is we had the market moving back here. Okay, so we had the bearish shift back here. However, that doesn't mean you want to look for shorts because again, we have to short high, right? So we had this imbalance back here that we've talked about for weeks. We had the market come back here and mitigate this area. And up here in this area around 1.18, this is where I said I was looking for shorts. We did have a structure shift on the 1 hour. Again, guys, all of this was talked about in Discord. I even took a short on that shift. And what you can see now is that we have lower highs and lower lows. However, at the same time, for the most part, we have been pretty sideways. And the reason for that is, again, everything going on in the Middle East, you know, Trump out there posting every few minutes, it seems like. It's created a very indecisive market. And not just with the euro, I mean, across the board. So for the euro right now, what I'm looking at is we have this potential change of character. Now, I will be the first one to tell you that this over here, using this low right here to identify a change of character is a little bit risky because we have this FVG down here. This was a very shallow pullback. However, at the same time, any shorts here that I take it's really based on the daily. It's based on what's happening here on the daily chart and this change of character down here. And what you'll notice is that on the daily chart, we have this displacement. Okay, so this 3 candle displacement basically, where we've had 3 candles back here straight down. Okay, now this up here is an imbalance. Specifically too, we have this little pivot right through here off these highs and lows. And this single print that you see, that is a TPO term, time price opportunity, to essentially illustrate a thinly traded level. Okay, so if we look here at the 1 hour time frame, what you'll notice is that back here, again, this is that pivot that we had, lows here, low here, high here. However, on this move down, on this displacement, we had right there at 1.1729 or so, we had this single print develop. So what this means is that it doesn't mean that the market has to come back here and test that. I want to be clear, okay? Just like with the US dollar, talking about that market, there is nothing here that says the euro has to come up here, okay? We could just continue to make lower highs and lower lows from here, all right? So I want to be clear that I am not bullish on the euro. Instead, if we get the euro moving up here toward this area, okay, 117.20/30, meaning this here to this level. If we get the euro coming up here over the coming days, and we get the market tagging that single print and giving us a low time frame shift from here, okay, then that could be a nice short. Now, again, nothing says we're going to come up here, okay, but looking at this move lower and also what's happening with the DXY, you know, what we just talked about in the previous chart, knowing this right here, and also knowing the fact that if I'm going to short a market after a move like this, really, I want to see the market, or I have to see the market come up here above the 50%, which is right here, into premium, which is up here, okay? So I want to see this here from the euro if I'm going to look for shorts here following this move lower. Again, lower highs and lower lows right now, guys. And so with that, I am looking for shorts. But again, all of this really goes back to the daily chart as well. This change of character back here, this was the first change of character that we've had from the euro in years. I do think this is significant. I remain bearish longer term here following some lower highs and lower lows that we've seen over the past few months. Okay, but if I'm going to short here again, I do need to see the move up there into premium. All right, so for GBPUSD, this market has been a lot more sideways than the euro. It hasn't been nearly as clean as the EURUSD, and you can see that here on the daily too. I mean, a lot of this is just complete chop, right? I mean, back here in this area, through this area, here recently, it's just been a very sideways market for the most part. And the swings here have not been, as I said, nearly as nice as the euro. And so really, if you're looking for US dollar exposure, I think the pair to trade is really the euro, not GBPUSD. You can see that here on the daily, right? These swings, yes, you have some choppy periods, but for the most part, these swings look a lot nicer than what we've seen here on the pound. With that said, though, you can see where right now the challenge with trading this market is that back here, we had the market move from a downtrend. Okay, so we had the change of character over here, the signal that buyers were taking control. So we had the market move from a downtrend into an uptrend. And now what we've had is the complete opposite. Okay, we had this BOS above this high back here. We've closed below, giving us a bearish change of character. So you can see right now, we kind of have this battle of change of characters. And this again just highlights how sideways this market has been. Now, one thing recently that I've talked about, though, if you've seen recent videos, is on this change of character right here. So back here in this area, when the pound was trading up here, I said, watch 1.33. Okay. This was the level because of this imbalance back here that I said, if we were going to get a move lower, one, this is where I target. Two, this is where we could see a bounce from the pound to move back to mitigate imbalances up here. Okay. And so far, that's exactly what we've seen. In fact, 1.33, guys, is right here. That low was literally a couple pips from that mark. Okay. So for the pound right now, we do have the potential, okay, the potential for the move higher. Now, again, this doesn't mean that I'm bullish on the pound, simply because I can't be bullish on the pound longer term if I'm also bullish on the US dollar longer term because of the daily chart, right? The DXY, that change of character up here, I cannot be bullish on the pound longer term with that as my bias. Okay. Now with the pound though, we do have imbalances up here. So specifically this right here. Now we're starting to see some of this mitigated here today on Wednesday. However, there is an area back here as well above these highs back here in this area as well. So I don't know if we're going to get up here or not. I think that if you're looking for shorts here, this is the ideal pocket to watch. And the reason for that is because from this high up here down here to the low, what you'll notice is that OTE here, first of all, this is our 50%, everything above is premium. The OTE optimal trade entry comes in up here. Okay. And we also have this displacement candle on the way down. So really 1.3550, we'll call it. This area up here, in my opinion, is kind of the one to watch if you're looking for shorts here. Again, I don't know if we're going to get up here over the coming days, but if we do, I will be looking for shorts from there. Again, though, between the euro and the pound, really, I prefer the euro just in terms of the price action over the past really year plus. Okay, so let's move along to gold XAUUSD. All right, so daily time frame here, you can see where the market has been pulling back now, really for most of 2026. And as I said recently too, in recent videos, this acceptance below this low back here, even though this did not give us a change of character or a BOS, simply because this low right here or this high right here was internal, right? This right here told me that this pullback was alive and well, okay? And that there was no bottom in place for gold. And what you'll notice here is that we talked about this at the time, but this right back here, okay, we had the BOS above, we had the change of character. This is where I was flipping bearish. You can see we had the move up here, okay? So lower high develop, and from there, it has been a nice short. Now, at the moment, what you'll notice is that we have a BOS below these lows right here, okay? So with this BOS, what we can do is take our fibs from this high down here to low, find premium, everything above the 50% here. We have OTE up here in this area around 46.80. Now, that's interesting because if you'll notice here, we do have an imbalance here as well. Notice the displacement candles here, multiple candles in a row above the 50%, okay? So if you're going to look for shorts, if you're bearish on gold, bullish on the US dollar, then in my opinion, everything basically above about 46.25, specifically though 46.50, everything above this up here in this area is fair game to look for shorts, okay? But if I'm going to short a market, I have to wait for the market to get above the 50% into premium, which obviously we are not there yet, okay? And one reason too that I'm looking for shorts here or continued move lower from gold is that, like I've said in recent videos, below these lows down here, okay, this move right here from gold, this is an imbalance. And if you look at the 1 hour time frame, although there's no guarantee that we come back here and fill candles like this, notice on the 1 hour time frame, okay, so notice this wick right down here. So really right around like 41.50 or so. This 1 hour candle, this wick, okay, on the low time frames is an imbalance. And this, lines up perfectly, right, if you are bullish on the US dollar. So again, for me, what I'm looking for here is a lower high to develop following this BOS. So we have a BOS to the downside. This right here tells us that sellers remain in control. We have the imbalance below these lows around 4,300, everything below here, down toward about 4,150. And then we have, again, this imbalance back here with OTE. Okay. So I'm looking for shorts up here in this area if we get it. If that coincides with the DXY testing this area down here. Okay. So 98.15, if that coincides with the DXY pulling back down here into this area, then even better. Okay. I don't know if we're going to get this. Again, I don't know if we're going to get this on gold, guys. I don't know what's going to happen. But for me, one of my rules is that following a BOS like this, if I'm going to look for shorts, we have to be above the 50% in premium. I truly hope this video has helped. Keep it locked in here, subscribe to the channel, and also check out that free SMC training because that's going to show you exactly how I trade SMC full time. Until next time, trade well. I will talk to you again tomorrow.